Good day, and welcome to your first lesson on introductory manual drafting. Today we're going to be learning about some of the tools that we use in manual drafting, as well as drawing a border and title block for your next basically 6 drafts that you're going to be doing. Now, I happen to be doing this in my home today because we have been quarantined. One of my kids had a close contact at school with someone with COVID. They're showing symptoms. And yes, we have to be at home for a few days until they clear their COVID test. So if you're watching this maybe in a few years from now, this is November of 2020. And it happens to be very snowy outside. Having a little bit of a snowstorm right now. So let's begin. For manual drafting, you need a few tools. Now, one of the first things you need to get at the back of the classroom is a T-square. We have 2 different types, a wooden plastic T-square as well as a metal T-square. We only need one, so I'm going to put that one aside. The T-square is composed of a head, which is this part right here, and a blade. It's fastened together with 5 screws, and those screws can come loose. So you want to make sure when you get that T-square, the head is nice and secure to the blade. Now, this T-square is meant to ride along the edge of a table. So you can't have a round table. You just need a table that has a straight edge. These tables we have, this is actually the identical one we have in the drafting room. And we don't have drafting mat on them yet. That might change in the future, but they're multi-use tables. We use them for other things. There's a computer on there. So, we're mostly actually using them for doing CAD, computer-aided drafting. But we do have the ability to do some introductory manual drafting on them. So a straight edge, 1 straight edge, that's all you need. T-square. The next thing you're going to need are some set squares. You just need one, either a 30, so this one here is a 30, 60, 90. That's referring to the angles. Don't need that one. I actually just need one of them. Either will work. And a 45, 45, 90. And make sure they're nice and clean. If they're not, go ahead and clean them with the solution that's in the drafting lab. So we have one of those, one of those, one of those, and we need one of these, a ruler. Now this one's a bit long. It's the only one I actually have in my house right now, so it's a bit cumbersome. I have to kind of get out of its way once in a while, but make sure it has metric. We are drawing in metric measurement. The other thing you're going to need is a pencil. A middle of the road pencil. This is a 2HB. You can get a harder lead, a softer lead, but we're only drafting for maybe 8 days, so we don't want to get a whole bunch of pencils. Just 2HB is fine. Pencil sharpener, need access to one of those. A white eraser, no pink erasers. Masking tape, you're going to need some of that. There's a few rolls at the back of the classroom. An eraser brush, that's for just taking eraser bits off, cleaning your page up. You're also going to need the guide for drawing a border and title block, which is that right there, and a scrap piece of paper, as well as actually, I guess, a white piece of paper which you'll be completing your drawing on. I believe that's everything. All your tools that you'll need. So let's get started. We're going to begin by taping down our paper. So grab some masking tape, approximately 10 centimeters, rip that in half, then rip that in half, and then rip that one in half. And those are 4 little chunks of masking tape, which you're going to have ready for you as you take and tape down your piece of paper. Normally you're going to be working kind of closer to you. I'm working way up here so that my document camera can catch what I'm doing. So it's a little bit awkward, but it'll work just fine. Now, what you want to do is when you're using this T-square, you want to make sure that it's always tight against the edge of the table. If it goes crooked, then it's not going to work for you. So always with your left hand, or if you're right-handed or left-handed, you could use it on this side, it doesn't matter. You're going to take and slide your paper against the T-square. So I'm going to have the T-square ready, and I just lift up the edges of the papers and then slide it against the T-square and then drop it. Okay, now that it's where I want it to be, I'm going to hold that down, grab that masking tape, and just take and mask my corners. Once the top two corners are done, I'm going to slide that down and mask the bottom two corners. Okay, the paper is ready to be drafted on. So to begin, let's have a quick review of the metric system, a very, very brief quick review. On your ruler, you're going to find that we're using the side that says centimeters or millimeters right here. And every single little tiny little mark on here is a millimeter. So if we counted from 0 to 1, we would get 10 millimeters. Every mark, every big mark is worth a centimeters. So they are listed here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. So if you need to make a mark at 9 millimeters, let's say, for example, you'd slide your ruler to the point where you want to start and just count the lines. And once you're at 9, you'd make a little mark. Then what you're going to do is take, and let's say we wanted 15 millimeters. Again, you'd mark your 0 point and then count to 15. A quicker way would be to go, knowing that there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter, we can go 10 plus 5 or 15 millimeters or 1.5 centimeters. Now, what we're going to do next is do a border and title block. So to do that, we're going to mark the edges. Sorry, that was 1 centimeter in. And on the right side, we're just going to pick a whole number and then go 1 centimeter to the left and make a little mark. We're going to do the same at the top and the bottom. So here we're going to go down 1 centimeter. But the bottom, because there's a title block there, we'll put the the ruler right on the edge, and then we're going to go 2 marks. Now, those marks are for me to line up my T-square. So I'm going to keep that T-square tight against the edge of the table, and I'm going to just drag my pencil nice and lightly. We don't want really heavy marks because we're going to have to erase some of these lines. These are called construction lines. So we might have to erase them, but most likely we're going to have to weighten them. So those are my horizontal lines. Now I can take my set square. My set square rides on top of my T-square. So I'm going to drop that where I need it, slide it over, and a nice line from the bottom to the top horizontal line. And then I do that the same over this side. Line it up to that 1 centimeter mark and make a line. Now, construction lines are meant to be light. Basically, if you're standing about 1 meter away, you shouldn't be able to see them. I'm drawing mine a little bit heavier so that you can see them in the document camera. But you want them so light that there's these blueprint, I guess maybe not so common anymore, but there used to be blueprint printers where you would draw in using lead pencils. And the blueprint, I guess the blueprint photocopier, when you put your originals in there, it photocopies it and it doesn't pick up the construction lines. That's why we do construction lines. We want them very, very, very light so it doesn't pick them up. Construction lines and guidelines, and we're going to get to guidelines a little bit later. The other thing I need to do for my title block is create some segments or sections, and those sections are 8 centimeters wide. So that's the section 1 and section 2, and section 3 is what's left over. I can take my, put that a little higher so you can see it in the video, and I'll draw those section lines vertically from the bottom title block or the bottom border to the top title block line, like so. Now, the title block is this bottom part right here. And that title block, what we have to do is we have to make guidelines in there. Guidelines are there just to basically guide your lettering. Think about lines on lined paper or foolscap that you would buy at the store. So we're going to make ourselves little guidelines so that we can have nice, neat lettering. Everything in drafting is extremely neat and tidy. So here we're going to go 2 millimeters down and 2 millimeters up from the guide. Now the reason we did that is because we have 6 millimeter lettering and we have a 10 millimeter space. So if I have 10, I subtract 6 for the lettering and I'm left with 4. So I want to have 2 down and 2 up. I want my lettering to float within that section. So there are my guides. And what I'm doing is I'm just skipping over top of this section line here because our lettering isn't going to go through that line. So those guidelines are going to guide my lettering. I'm going to get that T-square, put it up there, and get my scrap piece of paper. Now in this first block, I'm going to have my name, in the second block, title, and in the third, grade and period. So let's learn about how to center your lettering. First of all, my first section is going to say Mr. Cardinal. What I want to do to center them is I want to count my letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and divide them by 2. That way I know that I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, and the middle is the middle of that R. The next one in there, I'm going to put ortho blue because that's the next drawing that I'm going to do. Ortho is short for orthographic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the middle. And last, I'm going to put grade 8, period 4. There's going to be a double space here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So these are important numbers because I'm going to take and count backwards from the center of my sections. Now, the printing that I'm going to be doing is kind of similar to an Arial font. We've got straight backbones, nice neat letters, all uppercase letters. And yeah, they go just basically from the bottom to the top of the guidelines. Make sure your pencil is relatively sharp. And let's begin. So from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm actually uncomfortable leaning over like this, so make sure you get yourself comfortable. I'm going to go to the side a little bit here. Again, from the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, and I can start my name right here. Now, if you've done a good job centering, you should have about the same amount of space here as here. I'm close. Let's see if I can do a little bit better job on the title. The title is 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll begin with ortho. Remember going right from the top to the bottom of those guidelines. Nice straight backbones on your letters. Nice, neat, and tidy. It's okay, but I'm still a little bit less on that side than this side. Let's try again on this one here. We're going to go 8.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. As long as I see that you've tried to center your words, then I'm going to be just happy with that. Grade 8 and then period 4. And that's better. I've got an equal amount here and here. Now this title block is pretty much done. However, I have not weightened my border and title block. And weighting basically means that I go over top of the lines with usually a softer leaded pencil for the border and title block to make it nice and heavy. Now I'm not going to do that yet because I still have to take and do a drawing in here, and that's going to be an orthographic blue drawing, which is my next video. Once I'm done the orthographic blue drawing, then I'm going to actually weighten everything from the middle outside. So I'm going to weighten my object lines, and then I'll do my border and title block. So that brings us to the end of the first lesson, drawing a border and title block and a little bit of introductory to some of the tools for manual drafting. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time when we're drawing orthographic blue. Take care out there.